What do you think about Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua?
Boy, you're dealing with a guy who's an Olympic gold medalist. He's enormous and he's got vicious knockout power. And you take a guy who just had a boxing match that looks like a sparring match with 58-year-old Mike Tyson. And then you're going to fight one of the absolute scariest knockout artists in the heavyweight division. Maybe we should watch the Francis Ngannou fight just so you can see what Anthony Joshua is capable if he's fighting someone that's not in his league. Watch this. So he drops him with a right hand early. And this is 2 minutes into the first round. Francis gets up, he survives, and then check out this combination he hits him with. I mean, dude, he probably has no idea where he is. Paul wants to fight that guy. Hey, I'll watch. I'm gonna watch. I'm definitely gonna watch. So you got me there. And if you want to show you're legit by taking on one of the scariest heavyweights alive.
Joe Rogan warns that Anthony Joshua will expose Jake Paul to true heavyweight power, creating a dangerous reality that could end Jake Paul's career. Meanwhile, Lamont Roach reacted to Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua, saying his first thought was that Paul is crazy for taking this fight. He explained that coming from a non-traditional boxing background, Paul is stepping up to face a superstar and former Olympic gold medalist. Roach highlighted that Paul is aiming for a huge spectacle, making the fight as big as possible, which is smart from a career and marketing perspective.
My first thoughts was, this guy's crazy, not gonna lie, but I get it. Coming from a guy who's not a true traditional boxer, and to be able to have a position where he can fight a former unified world champion, former Olympic gold medalist, and to do it on such a stage where Anthony Joshua was a superstar as well. I mean, like, he sold out the O2, you know, twice. Absolutely. I think. So, you know, I think Jake is setting himself up for...
Roach continued by predicting what might happen in the ring. He believes Paul could get hurt or even heavily beaten, similar to other fighters facing elite competition. Despite the risk, Roach noted the fight will attract a massive audience and generate significant revenue. He emphasized that while the spectacle and money are appealing, Paul is taking a very real danger by challenging Joshua at this level.
You know, a huge spectacle, and which is, you know, kind of smart. If you're going to go big, why not go to the highest, like the highest of the mountain?
Smart is one thing. What do you think happens in the ring, though, champ?
I think he gets hurt, for sure. I think he gets obliterated, something close to like Francis Ngannou. I think something like that happens, and it's going to be bad for him. But there will be a lot of viewers. There will be a lot of viewers, and the answer will be a lot of money.
Furthermore, Joe Rogan begins by explaining that Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua fight is getting serious attention, and he will definitely watch it. He says Paul wants to prove he is real by taking on one of the most dangerous heavyweights alive. Joe talks about the weight rule placed on Joshua and explains that it will not weaken him because he will lose weight through conditioning, not by draining himself. Rogan says this will only make Joshua faster, sharper, and more motivated to show Paul what a real top heavyweight looks like.
Paul wants to fight that guy. Hey, I'll watch. I'm gonna watch. I'm definitely gonna watch. So you got me there. And if you want to show you're legit by taking on one of the scariest heavyweights alive.
Can you get the tail of the tape of Paul and Joshua?
I was gonna say they got him to weigh a grade of 245. That's only like 7 pounds less.
Yeah, that's nothing. And there's some sort of a rehydration clause. Listen, kids, it ain't gonna matter. You know, there's not a chance that Anthony Joshua is not going to just lose the weight beforehand. He's not going to come in drained. What he's going to do is just do extra cardio, and that's just going to make him more dangerous. He's going to be terrifying, and he's going to have a lot to prove. He's going to be very angry that Jake Paul wants to fight him.
Continuing from that point, Joe explains why Joshua will enter the fight with extra motivation. He feels Joshua will be annoyed that a YouTuber wants to face him, especially when Paul's past opponents were not top-level heavyweight boxers. Rogan lists the people Paul fought: wrestlers, MMA fighters, a basketball player, and an older Anderson Silva. He says these names do not compare to a strong, skilled, and active heavyweight like Joshua, making this challenge far different from anything Paul has experienced before.
Very upset that this YouTuber who's fought Tommy Fury, who's a legit boxer, and a couple other guys that were legit boxers. That's it. Like everyone else he's fought Ben Askren, who was really a wrestler. He fought Tyron Woodley, who was an elite MMA fighter, but not an elite boxer. He fought Nate Robinson, who was a basketball player. At least he's fought these guys. He fought Anderson Silva, and he dropped Anderson Silva, and Anderson Silva was a really good striker, but also in his 40s, different time. It's, not the same guy he used to be. This is a 34-year-old Anthony Joshua. This is a terrifying human being. Terrifying. Again, a guy who survived Usyk twice. You saw what Usyk did to Dubois? You see Usyk take out Dubois?
Leading into the final part, Joe breaks down the physical differences and why they matter. He points out that Joshua is much taller, heavier, and fully knows how to use his reach and power. Rogan explains that Joshua's jab, distance control, and right hand are extremely dangerous for someone like Paul. He adds that Paul cannot move or create problems the way Usyk does, and Joshua will not feel threatened in the same way. Joe finishes by saying the skill gap is huge, and that facing Joshua is a completely different reality for Jake Paul.
Did you see that? I mean, that's the Usyk you're talking about. There's an Usyk that rocked Tyson Fury, who's fucking 6'9".
So Jake Paul's 6'1"
Yeah.
versus 6'6" Anthony Joshua. Jake weighed in for the Tyson fight at 199.
Yeah.
Joshua against
252.
Ngannou was 252.
6'6". Not just 6'6", but 6'6", and knows how to use every fucking inch of it. Knows how to keep that stick in your face. He was keep that jab in his face, and that right hand, if it hits you, you're fucked. And he's not worried about you the way he's worried about Usyk. You can't move like Usyk. You can't constantly be frustrating and overloading his nervous system. Usyk is overloading every aspect of your senses at every moment.
Additionally, Alexander Usyk explained that Anthony Joshua joined his gym as a friend, not a student. Usyk already has his professional coaches, so training together was about mutual respect and helping each other improve. Initially, Joshua didn't have time, but later he joined Usyk's camp. They trained side by side for about 2 weeks, each doing special work while sharing the same gym environment, building trust and teamwork naturally.
No, I'm not coach, I'm friend. Yeah, I friend. I have very professional coach, not one, more like a team. Now we with Anthony like a friends. If I can help my opponents, I help. But only if this have my opponents. For example, we speak with Anthony. Say, hey bro, I have preparation. If you can come with my camp, we training with you together. Oh, it's a good idea. It's a good idea. But Anthony don't have time, I have. Now it's possible because I will with Anthony with camp 2 weeks.
Usyk is asked why he chose Joshua among many fighters. He says it feels like fate and emphasizes Joshua's polite, respectful personality. They communicate directly by phone, joke, and support each other during training. Joshua regularly visits Usyk's gym and observes the team. This created a smooth, friendly connection, allowing both to focus on preparation while building trust, making the joint training comfortable and productive for both athletes.
Yeah, we're training together. Anthony makes special work, I too special, but we work together.
You have so many opponents. Why Anthony Joshua? Why do you want to help Anthony Joshua?
Why Anthony Joshua? I think it's answer only for God, because Anthony very have, I think, education, like a kind of guy. We speak with Anthony, message. Now we speak on phone, not Instagram, but I have a number, Anthony have number. For example, we drive in a car. He call me, hey champ, hello, how are you? Blah 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 blah. We joke and hey, good luck training because I see this guy in the gym. My team, hey.
Furthermore, Lamont Roach shared his thoughts on the potential outcome of the upcoming fight between Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua. He discussed how dangerous Joshua could be in the ring, emphasizing his power and experience, and how that might affect Paul in the early rounds. Roach gave his perspective on whether Joshua could end the fight quickly and what fans should expect when the first bell rings.
By murder?
Yes.
Golly.
Might knock his head off a little bit. Like, it might be special effect, but it might, like, go out.
Like legit?
Yeah.
First round?
It depends on if AJ is going out there to knock him out in the first round. If he wanted to, he could.
Okay.
For sure.
Moving to that, Wade Plemons explains that Jake Paul has some strategies for the Anthony Joshua fight, but the short time frame raises questions. The fight was booked only a few weeks ago, and Paul hasn't faced a top heavyweight opponent. Even with tricks or special training, preparing for a two-time heavyweight champion like Joshua in such a short time is extremely challenging.
Like I said, Jake Paul got a couple of tricks up his sleeve for this Anthony Joshua fight. Now, again, does it matter what Jake does when we're talking about a fight that was just booked a week and a half ago and now is about 3.5 weeks from happening? Can you get good enough, as prepared as you need to be for an Anthony Joshua fight if you're Jake Paul, who hasn't fought someone in the top, realistically, the top 50? I know Tommy Fury is ranked in the top 50, but anyone that is a top 50 fighter, even in your weight class, let alone a top 10, top 5 heavyweight in Anthony Joshua, who was a two-time heavyweight champion of the world. Can you get prepared for a guy like that if you brought in, let's just say, a deity, freaking Zeus, Hercules, whoever, to prepare you? Could you do it? I don't think.
Plemons addresses rumors that Paul wasn't fully focused, traveling to events like F1 in Miami and visiting his girlfriend abroad. While this may make it seem he isn't serious, Plemons notes that Paul understands the fight's danger and stakes. He emphasizes that he is likely taking the right steps to prepare safely and effectively, bringing in experienced help to maximize his training in a limited time.
That Jake would have enough time, seeing as he's already undersized. He's not a real heavyweight, and this is Anthony fucking Joshua we're talking about. But I will say, there were rumors going around that Jake was not taking this fight as seriously as he needed to. That Jake was dilly-dallying, flying to go see F1 in Miami after his press conference, and then going to see his girl all the way in the Netherlands if she's trying to qualify for, I think, the Olympics or something else. There was this post from his girlfriend. I don't know if, again, this was in the Netherlands or where it was at, or maybe this is an old picture, but Jake flying around the world when he has a fight in about 4 weeks is probably not the greatest look, and it doesn't seem to make it look like he's taking it as serious as he needs to, locked away in the gyms of Puerto Rico. Now, again, that could have been a different picture. That could have been something else.
Finally, Plemons discusses Paul's actual preparation, highlighting that he is sparring with fighters Joshua was scheduled to face, like Cassius. This shows Paul is taking the fight seriously by practicing with real heavyweights. Plemons emphasizes that sparring with strong opponents is crucial, given that this is the toughest and most dangerous fight of Paul's career, requiring full focus and proper training to avoid serious risks.
But that's pretty shocking to see. With that being said, I want to push back on that because I do think Jake is taking this as seriously as he absolutely needs to, because this is not only the toughest fight of his career, it's the most dangerous to the longevity of his career, to his health and well-being. And so to do something like that, you need to bring in the best help possible to get ready. We already heard that Jake Paul was preparing it for Anthony Joshua by sparring the guy that Anthony Joshua was about to fight in Cassius Chaney. This gentleman right here, who was 24-3 from B-More, aka the DMV, and apparently is a top 100 heavyweight, even though it doesn't say he's actually a top 100 heavyweight. But that was what he was being marketed as by Eddie Hearn and AJ. Apparently Jake brought him into camp.
Who's the opponent that you were supposed to fight this weekend? He's in Jake Paul's camp. Who's that? What?
Yeah.
He's in Jake Paul's camp. What's his name?
Cassius.
Furthermore, former heavyweight champion Tony Bellew shared his thoughts on the upcoming Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua fight. He expressed disbelief at the idea of Paul stepping into the ring with a fighter of Joshua's caliber. Bellew highlighted how intense and animated the discussions around this matchup have become, and warned that the moment Paul first connects with Joshua in the ring, could be shocking.
It looks like it is happening.
I still don't believe it. How can you believe it's going to happen?
Have you made peace with it? Because I've never seen someone so animated over this fight.
It's insane. It's madness, but no one can knock Josh because it's just madness. I can't get my head around it, mate. I just don't believe he is going to be in the ring facing Josh with 10-ounce gloves on. When he touches him for the first time with a pair of 10-ounce gloves on, he's going to get the fright of his life.
Following Tony Bellew's disbelief over Jake Paul facing Anthony Joshua, former world champion Andre Berto added his perspective. He acknowledged Joshua's skill and reputation, but pointed out that recent shaky moments in Joshua's past fights could give Paul a real opportunity. Berto emphasized that Paul's power, strong training, and dedicated team make him a dangerous opponent, suggesting Joshua should not underestimate the YouTuber stepping into the ring.
Man, you know what, man? Just us in the boxing fraternity, all of us, we think Anthony Joshua is a great fighter. Of course, we expect, which he should, go in here and, clean Jake out, to be honest. That's what he's supposed to do. But, he's had some shaky, situations his last few fights. He did get clipped his last fight, and I think that's what, Jake's, team is banking off of. I know he has a good team. I know all the guys that train with him. I know a lot of coaches. He got the money. He's paying for the best. You know what I'm saying? Like, Jake definitely has a brick of a right hand, and he's been training out the last couple of years, and I think that's what he's banking on to try to clip him.
From a top boxer like Andre Berto saying, Jake's got a good shot here at shocking us all against Anthony Joshua.
As the hype around Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua continues, MMA star Sugar Sean O'Malley shared his personal take. Speaking as a friend of Jake Paul, he admitted the fight is extremely dangerous, and that facing a heavyweight like Joshua carries serious risks. O'Malley emphasized that getting knocked out by someone of Joshua's caliber could not just affect a fighter's career, but their life.
This fight, as a friend of Jake, I'm scared. Getting knocked out by someone like that changes lives. It doesn't change just your career path. And he's willing to go out there and fight, and that is absolutely fucking insane.
Adding to that, as the Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua fight gains attention, former influencer and fighter Andrew Tate shared his thoughts. Tate reflected on his own experiences in influencer boxing and noted the differences between fighting retired or smaller opponents versus taking on an active champion. Tate praised Jake Paul for stepping up to face Joshua, highlighting the bravery, self-belief, and respect involved in taking such a high-risk fight.
When I agreed this fight against Chase, I was going to say that, look, I'm first time back in a few years, influencer boxing, and I'm not fighting someone older than me. I'm not fighting someone smaller than me. I'm not fighting someone retired. I'm fighting an active champion. That's what a real man does. And that was going to be a dig at Jake Paul for fighting older people or smaller people. But now he's fighting AJ.
Fair.
So complete respect, huge respect to Jake Paul. I have nothing bad to say about Jake. Everything I was going to say, I can no longer say. So fair play to him. He's a brave man. He believes in himself. And I wish him and AJ a fantastic fight, and I hope they both come out without injury and without any problems and without any health issues.
The Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua fight is shaping up to be one of the most talked about matchups in recent boxing history. With Joshua's elite skills, power, and experience facing Paul's determination, hype, and strategic training, fans can expect an intense, high-stakes showdown. Every expert, from Joe Rogan to Andrew Tate, agrees this fight is dangerous, unpredictable, and full of spectacle. As the countdown continues, one thing is clear: both fighters are committed, and the stakes have never been higher. Whether it ends in a quick knockout or a tactical battle, this fight will be remembered for years to come. Who do you think will come out on top? Jake Paul or Anthony Joshua? Comment below and share your prediction.